Well, what's the number one characteristic in a kid that you see go on to be successful? When you see those successful kids come through your programs and they go on to do not just great things in hockey, but great things in life, like what's that one characteristic you see?
Well, they have a real passion to learn. They mom and dad are totally supportive, but they're not overbearing. They're letting the kid get through the muddy waters with, hopefully with a good coach, but they're letting them find their way. And I look at the two Barron brothers. I had Morgan in Dartmouth. He came into our team. He started out, he was on the fourth line. And, if the play came around to his side of the ice, he was a left winger. And if the play came around to his side of the ice, we never got the puck out. So it took him almost till Moncton. I think he had one goal going to the Monctonian. And he wasn't on the major Bantam team. He came from the Halifax team, and they had Barrett Decision and kid that went down to the States there. They had about 4 or 5 star players that were above him on the depth chart. So he was a solid player. I think he was the captain of the team. And but he wasn't like this can't miss prospect coming into midget. And we just showed him a couple of things. We worked with him almost on a daily basis to show him a couple of things just in that scenario alone of how he could slow the game down in his mind. So he was just getting passes and just banking them off the boards. He didn't know if the defenseman was pinching. Yeah. He didn't know if the third man high was in his kitchen. He was just panicking and getting rid of the puck. And we did 2 things for him. And he was standing still. So we just got him to come down a little bit lower on a routine breakout. And now as he's opening up, he's looking up the ice and taking a picture. But it wasn't an overnight thing. It was video, stopping the video, like here you are panicking again, and there's not a guy within 40 feet of you.
And was he getting frustrated with you guys telling him? Like he just that's how you...
Yeah, no, he was great. He was like a sponge.
Yeah.
But the second half of the season, the guy's on one of our power play units. And, and then the second year, he's the captain and one of the best players at the TELUS Cup. Like he was awesome in his second season. Just totally transformed.
Did you get a call from Cornell saying, "What's this kid like"?
No. He went to St. Andrews College.
Oh yeah.
We had calls. I had calls from we had 5 kids during that same time frame that got drafted to the NHL that had come in our program, and I probably had 12 other general managers or head scouts or regional scouts call me from different NHL teams. And because they go back to midget to find out, I said, they're not calling Steve Crowell to find out, is he good enough? Do I think he's good enough to play for the Carolina Hurricanes or whatever? They know that. They've determined that wherever he's playing now, whether it's Cornell or Halifax Mooseheads. What they want to know is what was he like at our level in the dressing room? How was he with the coaches? How was he with his teammates? What did he have leadership abilities? All that. What was he like when you went on the road? Was he the guy sneaking out and trying to break curfews? They know what those kids had for breakfast before they draft them. But they all asked me like 3 or 4 questions, but there was probably 6 different questions. But they all asked me the same question. They all asked one question that was identical. What can you tell me about mom and dad? And when it came to the Barons, I didn't coach Justin, but I know the parents from coaching the other guy, and you couldn't meet a nicer, supportive, pair of parents for a young player to grow up in the game. And that's, I can look at Zach Sill that I had in Cole Harbour.
Did you have him in Truro as well? So?
Well, I didn't have him. He was with Sean Evans.
Okay, yeah.
I drafted him as a territorial pick,
Yeah.
But his mom and dad were just salt of the earth people, and that he wasn't given anything extra. There was no $500 sticks. He had to rough it out a few times, but they did not stick their nose in once to say, well, you should be playing with this guy or should be on that power play unit, or just let your son, just give him the support that he needs. I always say that 2 things you should tell your kids going to the rink: work hard and have fun. All right, and if you start interjecting, but you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do that, it generally doesn't work as a general rule.
It's funny how those 2 simple rules still apply today. Work hard, have fun. So generic, but just so true.
Again, I go back to Martin St. Louis. Like the young players on that team right now, on the Canadians, love him because he's almost like a dad figure too. He's telling them how are they going to have fun, how to enjoy the game. Of course, winning will help, but they're in a different phase right now where they're rebuilding for the future. But all of the players, almost to a man, are telling the outside world how fun it is. They're still really competitive, but he's really competitive, but he's making the game fun. He's showing them things and teaching them, and that's the beauty of it.